working to no avail. So now he's got to go back to the lab with a pen and a pad and figure out something new. That's what's taking place. So thank you to both of you for being real world examples of unaccountable behavior, of hijacked amygdalas, and all of the different biases that we've already discussed. Great lesson from both of you, and now both of you will be removed. Okay. Pablo, I'm not talking about that right now. Should you decide to stay, then you will learn more about the brain. But I'm not I'm not answering questions because you need to learn how to hold yourself personally accountable. That's what you need to do. And to do that, you need to be here every day to understand how the entire brain functions. This one question that you're asking isn't going to help your whole neurological pathway. So feel free to stay. Learn about the cerebral cortex and the 4 lobes of the brain. And if you come back every day, those questions will be answered for you. Now, where was I? Occipital lobes. It's located at the back of the brain right here in the orange. And the inputs are visual for color, movement, and positions. And the occipital lobes recognizes faces and objects and perceives their depth and distance. You need more popcorn. Okay. Instead of let them have cake, let them have popcorn. And I actually make great popcorn. I do an old school on the pot and on the stove with some canola oil, got the kernels and everything. And then just put a little bit of salt on it. Sometimes I put some dried cranberries in it. It's a pretty good snack. And we leave it on the counter in a Tupperware and just grab it. And it also curbs your appetite too, in case y'all didn't know that. So the occipital lobes recognizes faces and objects and perceives their depth and distance. So this is visual and it's letting you recognize. And I don't know if you've ever watched any of those medical shows where people can't recognize faces. I can't remember the name of the actual disease, but there are people who can't recognize your face. So that means that there's damage to the occipital lobe. Okay, number 3 is the parietal lobe. It's sitting right here in the middle of the frontal lobe and the occipital lobe. And what it does is it carries out critical functions of combining the sensory information from all parts of your body to create an image of around the world around you. It also helps in perceiving your bodily comprehensions, touch, and temperature and pressure, and enables you to make sense of your surroundings and manage your movements according to 3-dimensional space. So for example, it helps you move around your house, your city, your town, and we talked about that last week. So it's giving you, it's where the hippocampus and everything is, and it's making sure that you have everything that you need from a spatial perspective so that you know, hey, this is where stuff is. This is how I navigate through my city and my house. It's also essential for sensing pain and vibrations. And the last one is the temporal lobe down here. Actually, that's not where the amygdala is located, down here in the hippocampus. All right, temporal lobes. It's responsible for integral functions like feelings, memory, and hearing. The left temporal lobe helps you understand language, retain spoken information, and learn and frame speech. We talked about that yesterday when we were talking about the reading brain. And then the right temporal lobe helps you retain nonverbal inputs to identify info, recognize other people's facial expressions. So I did demonstrate that on the live, where 90% of all of your communication is nonverbal. So if I'm like this, and everybody knows what I said, and I didn't say anything. So that's what the right temporal lobe is doing. And then the temporal lobes combine input from your environment and other parts of your brain. It converts sounds into visual maps. And then when you listen to someone speak, your temporal lobes are activated to help you understand them. So that's what's actually taking place. So a brief summary, this is the frontal lobe, this is the parietal lobe, this is occipital lobe, and this is the temporal lobe. And we will spend the rest of the week going into more detail which each one of those lobes do, so that you can understand them better, so that when people are coming to be unaccountable to you, it's clear as day. Now, if you think about it, maybe a month ago, your amygdala could have gotten hijacked and you wouldn't have known why. And now it's very obvious to you. And that's the whole purpose of me allowing unaccountable people to be the example for us today to follow